So I got a question. It was asked to me during my first live stream, and I don't think I really answered it because, there was a few things going on and it was my first stream and everything. And the question was, what do I need or how can I be a good rhythm guitar player or, something along those lines. And well, at first you might think, well, that's kind of a simple question or whatever. But when you think about it, it's actually a pretty good question. What do you need to be what is a rhythm guitar player anyways? And what do well, like a lot of things here, I'm going to split it into two levels, okay? Basic beginners version, if you want to just sit around with your friends at a party and play some 3 and 4 chord songs and have everyone sing along, we're going to call that level 1 or the basic version of what you need. And then for those of you that want to when you're ready to take it a little further, right? And understand what you're doing, then that'll be level 2. And we'll talk about some of the skills and things that you'll have to inquire into your rhythm playing to get to that level and why you would need to, and more importantly, why you don't have to bother if you don't want to, okay? So first of all, thank you so much for your ongoing support. And if you like what's going on, please hit subscribe, and that way you don't miss anything. And I don't know, it kind of makes me feel important. And if you like the videos or any videos, please hit the like button. That's all I really ask, because I found out apparently that, well, according to YouTube, it makes them think that I'm a somebody when, well, we both know that, or we all know, that I'm really a nobody. So it helps if you also like the videos, all right? So let's get that out of the way and start on. So rhythm guitar. So a rhythm guitar player, whether it's on your own or as part of a duo or a band, your job is to play the chords, lay the chord progression out of the verse, the bridge, the chorus, or whatever. Carry the overall rhythm of the song. If you don't have a drummer, you're the timekeeper. Got to keep everything flowing right, okay? And in the case of bands like AC/DC, they take 3 chords, and because how they're played is the rhythm, right? Or I don't want to play it exactly because of the copyright thing here and all that. So, but you get the idea, okay? For the most part, like we began the video, that's a rhythm guitar player playing chords within the same key, making them sound, using your guitar foundation, making them sound like a song. That's basically it. Level 1, rhythm guitar player. But of course, what do you need to know to be able to do that? Well, the more chords, the better. You should know all your open chords, okay? And if you can do that for a Friday night jam or a Sunday afternoon at the cottage or whatever it may be, and you just want to play with your friends, family, whatever, that's all you need. And you'll find the songs that you want to play are all made up of those 3 or 4 open chords, even 2, and away you go, right? Now, if you haven't already noticed, level 1.5 we'll go now before we go to 2, is you're probably going to find you need a couple of bar chords, because more and more as you look into songs to play and learn, you're going to notice the B minor rears its ugly head and the F sharp minor, right? Now, luckily these chords are pretty easy to play. I do have instructional videos on how to play those chords, so we're not going to get into that really right here, but they're pretty close together. And also, when you start looking at the way chords are grouped together into keys, all right, you're going to see that B minor often is played before or after the F sharp minor. It just works out that way, okay? Just that there's just certain chords that sound so good together that they're used quite often in songs. And you should know by now that songs are written in a key, so they will take the chords from only that key. Now, there are some odd exceptions, but for the most part, the chords in the key of that family are the ones that are going to make that song up. So if you know the chords in the key of C or G or D or whatever you're playing in, that helps a lot. Now, if you don't know them, this is a great tool to have. This is called a chord wheel. Now, they're called different things, circle of fifths. There's all kinds of variations depending on the information that you want it to give you, right? This particular one is really best for showing you the key, what chords are in that key, and how they're numbered, all right? And it's good to know these things, and we'll get to that in level 2. So to use the chord wheel, we would just say, all right, so we want to play in the key of A. So we slide this to where it says key of A, and it shows me all the chords that I can play in the key of A. Now you will notice there's only 3 open chords, and those are A, D, and E. The rest are bar chords, sharps or flats, right? So you're going to need some bar chords down the road. But at the level that we're talking about right now, your open chords and a B minor will do you just fine. F sharp minor maybe too, but I think you get what keep it simple, we keep it basic. And you won't get into trouble, and you'll be able to play, as I've always told you, a book this thick of songs in all kinds of genres, all right? So that's really all you need, is a good guitar foundation, a chord repertoire, right? And have some sense of rhythm, because that's what it's all about, right? Rhythm and tempo. Now, you may also one day just be playing like this. That's rhythm guitar as well. All right? Now, for those of you that want to go a step further, right? You want to play as a duo with someone else. You want to play in a band. You want to confidently be able to go to open jams and participate and know what's going on. All right? Because now you're exposing yourself to people of all levels, and there's always that guy, right, that's got to show you how great he is and start barking instructions. So we want to be ready for that guy, okay? So what we would need in that situation, right, we would like to know the numbering system of the chords, pretty important, and we'd also like to know more about how chords are separated or put into these groups, okay? Now, what we can do here, we also, at this point, have to expand our bar chord repertoire. And here's the reason, the biggest reason is, okay, if you're playing something in C sharp or D sharp or E flat, which is the same as D sharp, or whatever the chord is that's sharp or flat, and all the chords in the key or that they're playing are sharp and flat, well, simple. You can just put a capo on and play the open version and use the capo to make it sharp, right? No problem. But if there's only 1 or 2 out of the 4 chords that are sharps and flats, you got to switch to a bar chord. So the better your repertoire of bar chords, right, the more versatile you will be, especially in front of strangers or in a more upscale setting, or even in a gig or band setting, okay? So that's definitely something that you're going to need to know. Now, other things such as the numbering system. Every chord is numbered within the key, right? So if we are in, as we mentioned before, we're in the key, let's say, of C, right? So the good thing about the chord wheel, it tells you the numbers, but it's real simple. You can figure this out in your head. So if someone says we're in the key of C and we want to play a 1-6-3, all right? Well, 1 is the key of the chord, right? The chord of the key. So that's C. So 1 is C, and then we just count up from there. 1 is C, 2 is D, E, F, G, A. So the 6th chord is A, right? And then the 3rd chord would be E minor, right? C, D, E. Simple. 1, 6, 3. If it was a 1, 4, 5, then the C would be the 1st chord, the F, right? C, D, E, F would be the 4, and the G would be the 5. So why do we need to know that? Because remember that guy, okay? He yells out, all right, everybody, I'm playing in the key of G and I'm playing a 1-6-3. Oh, okay. He won't say I'm playing, here's the chords, G, this, that. He'll just say 1-6-3. So I got to figure that out. So I can use my chord wheel or my cheat sheet on the back of my guitar, or I can count, right? So if I'm in the key of G and I want to play a 1, 6, 3, I'm going to play a G, an E minor, and a B minor. Done. So we need to know that, all right, to be a level 2 rhythm guitar player. And that's not an official term. That's just my level 2 thing. That's just me, okay? So we need to know the numbering system. Finally, the numbering system also helps us transpose. So we're playing 1, 6, 3 in the key of C, right? So because we've already talked about that. So that's C, A minor, E minor. C, A minor, E minor. 1, 6, 3. And then that guy goes, all right, everybody, hold on a minute. No, I'm not feeling the vibe. Let's move to the key of D and play the 1, 6, 3 there. Okay, so now I'm scrambling. Okay, well, what are the chords? What are the chords? So I can use my chord wheel, or I can do the same. I can count up. So if I use my chord wheel, I find out that the 6th chord is the B minor, and the 3rd chord is the F sharp minor. Now remember before when I said how common it is that you go from a B minor to an F sharp? Well, and I didn't realize it when I called these numbers out, but so 1, 6, 3. So now I know automatically. I've either looked at my cheat sheet, I've got my wheel with me, or I've done the math in my head that I know that I got to now play D, B minor, F sharp minor. And that's the relevance of the numbering system and why you should know it. Okay? All right. We've transposed, we've basically assigned numbers to the chords so we know where we're at. We don't have to call out the chord progression, or they just say, okay, it's a 1, 4, 5 in the key of whatever, and it's done, and people start playing. Okay? So those are things that you will need to be a rhythm guitar player. And really the last thing that may come up is someone might want you to play the relative minor of a chord. Or they might say, hey, Ray, I want to play the relative minor, A minor. So just play the major chord to that. Just play the major chord progression, 1, 4, 5. I'm going to play the relative minor as a solo. So, okay, right. So the relative minor is actually the 6th chord of every key. And it's relative because they're related. Not only, so in this case, it would be A minor in the C, right? C and the 6th chord is A minor. So C and A minor, think about how good, not only how good they sound together, right? But how often they appear together in songs. Either or because they sound real good together, okay? So the other thing they do is they share, they share a scale. So the C scale is the same as the A minor. So you could play over top of both of those chords. So if you have a 3-chord progression, C, A minor, and G, well, I could just noodle around in some form of an A scale or an A minor scale, A minor pentatonic or whatever, and it's going to sound good over at least 2 of those chords and probably all 3, right? Because they all share the same notes. So that's the advantage of knowing your relative minor. Other than that, like I said, Friday night, Saturday night at the campfire, you don't need to know any of this. Just play your chords, learn your songs, and away you go, right? So, but again, those that want to take it further, it does help to know your keys and what chords sit, especially open chords at the beginning. And as your confidence and knowledge and skill level progress, then you can find out which ones are the sharps and the flats and the minors and that kind of stuff. But for now, keep it simple, right? And once you know how to transpose and once you know what the numbers are of each chord, it becomes very, very simple after that. So I hope this helps answer the basic question of what do I need to be a rhythm guitar player. We've split it up into 2 groups, and it's pretty common sense. Like you're the guy, right? You lay the railway track, and then others will come and go as they need it. But you're the one from beginning to end that sets the tone and makes everything sound right. Okay, so as normal, comments, suggestions, requests, all that kind of stuff. Watch for some more live stuff. I think what we'll do is we'll probably eventually settle into a schedule, try to take into consideration different time zones, and it'll give us an opportunity or give you an opportunity to talk about some of the things maybe that we've posted that week and clarify things and ask questions and all that kind of stuff, right? So comments, suggestions, requests, all that kind of stuff, and we'll see you again next time. And don't forget, it's all about the practice. Bye for now.